Hello everyone, Vampire Tweeting here, and welcome back to In the Meta, the show where I talk about things that are currently happening in the meta. Let's jump in. Like I said, guys, this is In the Meta, but this is going to be a different episode. You can probably tell from the title that this is going to be in the future meta? Well, I just remembered that they were releasing both Beedrillite and Mawilite, meaning that in a few weeks, Mega Beedrill and Mega Mawile will be legal. Now, we're going to take a look at the current stats because I need to talk about a couple things here. So, right now, we have an overabundance of steel types in the meta. Now, I believe I talked about this in the other video, but I believe there's something like 16 in the top 50 are steel types. And the reason for this is because within the top 50 there are also a bunch of fairy types which are super strong and very difficult to answer. Looking in the fairy types that we currently have, we have Magearna, we have Finny, Lele, Coco, we even have Bulu hitting up in that top 20. So, you know, in the top 20 alone we have all 4 Tapus as well as Magearna. You know, even moving down, we still see some fringe use from things like Mimikyu, and it's just really interesting to see how many actual fairy types there are in the meta. Now, as opposed to the past generation, we had a lot, and you see even Clefable in there at number 37. Now, it does have a much lower usage, but it's definitely still broad. Now, compared to Generation 6, where, yes, you saw fairy types, but I don't think you saw them in this much abundance, because this generation introduced a lot of hard-hitting fairies that are very difficult to answer. And I feel that the way that the meta adapted to that was to bring a bunch more steel types. You're seeing, you know, people with 1, 2, even 3 steel types on their team, and it's working. You know, Mega Metagross right now is the best Mega to deal with them, and one of the best Pokemon to deal with all 4 Tapus in general. It deals with the Tapus, it deals with the Ultra Beasts, and I did talk about that in my Mega Metagross in the Meta episode. But there's something coming out in that Mega Beedrill and Mega Mawile will soon be released. Now, these will both have an interesting effect on the meta. So, let's go over to Smogon and see what they have. Moving over on to Smogon, we have Mega Mawile here first, is the first one we're going to talk about, because I feel that the impact Mega Mawile is going to have is going to be slightly less than the impact that Mega Beedrill will have. Now, I'm not saying they both won't have impacts, they obviously will, but I feel that Mega Mawile is a little bit more manageable, and I'll talk about that when I get to Beedrill some more. Now, looking at Mega Mawile, it's got huge power, and it's got some really good attack and defense stats, and even special defense, although its other stats are very subpar. So this thing is going to be a wall breaker, and that's definitely going to help out because there's a lot of stall in the meta right now, and people aren't really happy with that. And you can't see the speed there, but as you can see, it is 50. Let me go ahead and fix that for you. There we go. So I fixed that for you. You know, its speed is 50. Meaning that this thing is always going to usually hit second unless you're on a Trick Room team, which isn't that prevalent in the meta. And looking at the moves that it gets, you know, it gets some good moves. You know, it gets Thunder Punch. It can set up with Swords Dance. You get Sucker Punch, Rock Slide, Power Up Punch. Now, Iron Head Knockoff, Ice Fang. It gets okay coverage. The biggest issue that I'm seeing with this Mon, however, is as you look here, there's distinctly something missing, and that is that its best move to deal with a steel type is like Fire Fang. So things like, yeah, I mean, it gets Brick Break too, to be honest. It does get Brick Break, but I feel that because of that, because this doesn't actually deal with a lot of the steel types in the meta, that this thing is just going to become another casualty to the steel type overabundance. You know, Mega Metagross can do some pretty good damage to this thing. The best move that this thing gets for Mega Metagross is Sucker Punch. Even then, you're only doing like 67 to 77%. Whereas Mega Metagross is hitting you back with an Earthquake and doing about the same, although slightly less. It's something like 62 to like 72% in return. Now, remembering that Lele is in the current meta, it really makes it difficult to use Mega Mawile to answer things like Mega Metagross. Because you cannot Sucker Punch, you will be outsped, so you'll get one good hit off with the Psychic Terrain on, and then you're just dead. Now, going to Beedrill. Now, Beedrill is the one that I feel is going to really impact the meta, because Beedrill is set up to kill the Tapus. Now, it doesn't just kill the Tapus, though. It actually kills a lot of things in the meta. So it has Drill Run for Magearna. You know, it has Poison Jab for every other Tapu. But then it also gets things like X Scissor or even U-Turn. And you're going to do some massive damage with that against the Tapus. But not only, it's not the fact that this thing is super strong. It's got a 145 speed, meaning that it's only outsped by Pheromosa for Mons in the meta that are not Scarfed. And that's huge, because right now I think the closest Mon that we have is like Ash Greninja at like, what, 132? So this thing coming in is going to be a prevalent threat. And I think it's going to really shake up whether you use Mega Metagross or whether you use Mega Beedrill. It has a 150 attack, so it's a great wall breaker. It has a 145 speed, which means it's going to hit like a truck. But not only that, its main weakness is priority. And you can get Lele to negate priority. So it all just falls in line that this could be a contender for the best Mega in the format. I have been Vampire218 here, bringing you this episode of In the Future Meta. If you like the episode, make sure you leave a like, share, comment, favorite, and subscribe, and let me know what you guys think that these two Megas are going to do in the meta. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!